Hello, everybody. This is Goose. You're watching On With the Show. Thank you for coming back to the podcast. And today we're going to talk about Chappell Roan and the controversy surrounding her about what happened to her in Brazil with a young fan that apparently walked by to, saw her and walked by to make sure it was her and was then talked down to by a security guard that made the little girl and the mother feel bad. And we're going to find out how all of that was a lie, that Chappell Roan deserves an apology because people saw this and rushed to judgment before even getting a little bit of information for what really happened. So before we get into it, go down, subscribe to the channel so that you always know when new podcasts are online and that you always know with me of what the next story is. And let's get started. Let me open up the OBS and let's get into this. All right, so let's get into this. I got this from Fox News Entertainment. It says here, Rio Mayor bans Chappell Roan from performing in his city after a fan incident controversy. Soccer star claims his daughter walked past Chappell Roan's table and smiled before a guard accused her of harassment. And here we go. Chappell Roan sparked backlash from a Brazilian official Saturday after an alleged awkward fan interaction. While in town to perform at Lollapalooza, the Pink Pony singer allegedly directed security to scold his daughter after she spotted Chappell having breakfast at the hotel in Sao Paulo, according to professional soccer star Jorginho, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Jorginho Freo. I'm not big into soccer stars, so I don't know how to pronounce this guy's. Chappell, 28, addressed the incident on Instagram stories Sunday and later denied. Let me highlight this. Chappell, 28, addressed the incident on Instagram stories Sunday and later denied the fan encounter after the very upsetting situation caught the eye of Rio de Janeiro Mayor Eduardo Cavalier. In a statement here, I got to highlight this. In a statement shared on X, Cavalier said that Chappell was no longer welcome to perform in his city. You are no longer welcome. You cannot be here anymore. And here's as long as I'm in charge of our city, this young lady, Chappell Roan, will never perform at Todo Mundo no Rio. He wrote in a statement translated from Portuguese. I doubt that Shakira would do that. By the way, Freo Jorginho, your little one is already the guest of honor from the organization in May. I know, I had a little accent there. The Good Luck Babe singer jumped on social media Sunday morning to explain her half of the story while lying in bed. I didn't even see the woman and a child. No one came up to me. No one bothered me. The musician confided in her followers while laying in bed. I was just sitting at breakfast in my hotel. I think these people were staying at the hotel as well. So she goes on to say, I did not ask the security guard to go up to talk to this mother and child. They did not come up to me. They weren't doing anything. She then goes on to add down here, she added, I do not hate people who are fans of my music. I do not hate children. Like, this is crazy. I am sorry to the mother and the child that someone was assuming something, that you would do something, and that if you felt uncomfortable, that makes me really sad. You did not deserve that. The soccer star goes on to say, my wife was in Sao Paulo for Lollapalooza this morning. My daughter woke up incredibly excited, he said to Catherine Harding, who has an 11-year-old daughter with her ex, Jude Law. She even made a sign because she was so happy to see an artist she really admires or used to admire. All right. By coincidence, they're staying at the same hotel as the artist. During breakfast, the artist walked past their table. My daughter, like any child, recognized her and got excited and wanted to confirm it was really her. The worst part is that she didn't even approach her. She simply walked past the singer's table, looked to confirm it was her, smiled, and went back to sit with her mom. She didn't say anything, didn't ask for anything. All right, so that's what got this started. Apparently, this young girl saw Chappell Roan eating breakfast. And like any of us do, when we see a celebrity, we want to make sure it's her. And so she didn't go up, and apparently she didn't even go up to the table. She didn't even bother Chappell Roan. She just confirmed that it was her. And they walked back all excited. And apparently a security guard walked up to her and did something, because all that was said was it was upsetting. Nothing has been reported of what was said or how it was said or anything. We're just being reported that it was the security guard walked up, said something to them, and it upset the little girl, and she was crying. And this exploded online, everywhere. And when I saw it, I was like, there's something weird here that we're not seeing. And the reason is because I did a podcast on Chappell Roan almost a year ago, maybe about a year ago. And all she was basically saying was that she had a problem with weird fans who thought that they deserved her time because they saw her and we want a picture. Oh, we want to. And Chappell thought that was a little bit, weird, a little bit, kind of, and asked for space, Now, it gets even better because apparently Lionel Richie got involved. If you know who Lionel Richie is, he's currently one of the judges on American Idol. Was really big in the 80s, used to be the lead singer of the Commodores at one point. Very good voice. I love his stuff. But he gets in there, and apparently Lionel Richie slams rude celebrities as Chappell Roan faces backlash over security guard debacle. All right, so there's a picture of Lionel Richie. Let me highlight what said is. It says Lionel Richie dished out blunt advice to the next generation of stars as Chappell Roan faces backlash over her own fan drama. And this message couldn't be any clearer. I'm sorry, I just got a notification from Pat McAfee. And his message couldn't be clearer. If you don't like people, fame isn't for you. The 76-year-old Hello hitmaker broke down the biggest mistake artists make when chasing the spotlight during a chat with his son-in-law, Joel Madden, on Veep's artist-friendly podcast. There's one thing you didn't calculate, Richie said. I hope you like people. And there's a picture of Richie. There's a picture of Chappell Roan, because that's who they're talking about. And he says, because if you don't like people, here's how it's going to sound. You spend half of your career going, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And then you finally get famous. Don't look at me, don't look at me, don't look at me. Roan, 28, has been under fire for a string of fan-related controversies, including resurfaced comments, which she called, and I just said that, some supporters weird and creepy, along with a reported incident in Brazil where a young fan was allegedly confronted by a bodyguard. For Richie, that switch up is where stars go wrong. The universe gave you what you asked for. You want to be famous and rich without the people. It doesn't work like that. You have to be able to engage. Madden, who's married to Richie's daughter, Nicole Richie, from Simple Life fame, says he watched that philosophy play out in real life for years. I see you acknowledge people, recalling how Richie greets fans in everyday situations, such as when the singer is walking through a restaurant. So it basically goes on to say, and here's what it says here. He says, for Richie, the answer is simple. I was once invisible, he said. They want to say something to you, and you can see it on their face. They want to say something, and for me to ignore them would be the worst. Okay, so now you got other stars jumping in on this. Then you get Brett Cooper. Now, I have certain respect for Brett Cooper, but because I think she's very passionate about what she does, and she does make some good points. But I saw this clip of her talking about Chappell Roan, and my first thought was, Brett, you should stay in your lane. But that's not what she did. So I'm going to play this recent video. It's over almost 29 minutes long. She talks about Chappell Roan. Is everything wrong with celebrity culture? And this is pretty much the one of the biggest parts of the video. I apologize for the audio. I know it's going to be echoey. So let me turn that down. Probably why you can hear that notification so clear.
Sleeping on a Helix mattress might help her wake up on the right side of the bed, but also, maybe Chappell Roan just shouldn't be famous, because guess what? What we're dealing with here is kind of the name of the game. And across the board, Chappell's entire MO just seems to be fighting that on every single level. I mean, she's constantly acting like being rich and successful and famous is some kind of oppression, and she has a right not to be watched and looked at, even though she makes millions of dollars singing her silly little songs and dancing on a stage. Somebody commented and said, some people aren't meant to be celebrities, and that's okay. Chappell Roan wants celebrity privileges and money without any of the drawbacks, and it just doesn't work that way. A trade-off with fame is dealing with paparazzi and people wanting your picture. It's kind of like literally the bare minimum. You are not a famous person if you do not have that. You're not a famous person if people do not know who you are. That's literally the definition. Chappell, do you want to go back to Missouri? Do you want to go back to singing in parks with 10 people in a crowd? Do you want to be broken unknown again? Because you are welcome to go back to that. You are welcome to take a step back, become unknown again. The internet moves at the speed of light. People will forget about you and move on to the next queer pop artist in like 5 minutes. You can disappear if this is too oppressive, too anxiety-inducing for you. But of course, I don't think that Chappell Roan actually wants any of that. She just likes having something to be angry about. And let me tell you, Chappell Roan is always angry.
And of course, I get an ad here, which I would get an ad, but I'll stop it here because, first of all, let me go out just to the next one. First of all, what the video she was going to show was Chappell Roan basically calling out a paparazzi who basically said, you were disrespectful to me, at this place. And let's be honest, paparazzi and photographers can be very disrespectful to stars. Paparazzi and can be very disrespectful to a lot of different people. And because they feel that that's their job. You owe me a picture because you're famous now. Here's the thing. And again, I like Brett, but I think Brett needs to stay in her lane. And I say this because I don't think she understands. I'm already on the next thing here, but I don't think she understands that these are people who have, because of social media and the way it works, is that they have stalkers that like breathe their every move. And I'll explain that on the other side of this, because this is what I think. I mean, first of all, I don't even know why you're even talking about Chappell Roan. I don't. This seems to be outside your purview. I don't understand why you feel like this is something that requires your time, Brett. I don't. But I will talk about that because I'm going to go back on the other side of this and talk about what she said before about weird and creepy fans and everything else, and why, yes, Chappell Roan deserves her space. But let's keep moving forward with this because apparently according to this, who is this according to? The Independent, Chappell Roan bodyguard controversy fueled by bots. Bots online. Research finds pop star faced personal attacks over accusations her security guard left Jude Law's 11-year-old in tears. And here we go. The excessive blowback that Chappell Roan has received over alleged incident with security guard and an 11-year-old fan was coordinated online attack driven by bots. Not even real people, bots. New data has found Roan, 28, has recently faced considerable backlash over accusations made by Brazilian soccer star, blah, 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 blah. We've already gone over that. The Pink Pony Club star has since spoken out, denying the security guard was part of her personal detail, and I'm going to get into that in just a little bit, and insisting that she was not aware of the incident. Still, Roan's character has been thrown into question as she faces intense scrutiny for how she handles fame. However, it appears that much of the online criticism was generated by bots, according to a report shared with The Independent by AI-driven behavioral intelligence platform Gudia. I hope I said that right, Gudia. Now, here's how it was. Combing through over 100,000 posts generated by 54,334 unique users across 7 platforms between March 20th and 22nd, the company found that 4.12% of the activity originated from non-typical users who behave as outlier, influencer, facilitator, or hybrid types. I will get that word right. Gudia defines outliers as accounts that engage in unusual posting patterns, influencers as users with large followings whose content often sets trends or sparks controversies, as facilitators as accounts that post so regularly it seems almost automated. These non-typical users accounted for 23%. 23% of over 100,000 posts, which is high. Yep. It added the incident prompted intense personal attacks on Chappell Roan, calls for boycotts, and significant misinformation, including satirical, fictional embellishment spreading as fact. You hear that, Brett? You're spreading misinformation. Discourse ranged from legitimate fan criticism and debate about celebrity privacy versus fan treatment to coordinated attack campaigns and considerable satirical, humorous content that blurred the line with misinformation. So, 23% of the criticism online on Chappell Roan was by bots. Not even real people. Bots. This basically just tells everybody that we can all be just pulled by the nose if we're not careful. We're pulled by the nose because a lot of these people saw this initial report and just jumped on it without even considering what really happened. And what really happened was this. This is from Reality T. Guard from Chappell Roan controversy was working for Sabrina Carpenter. Let that sink in. The guard in question wasn't even working for Chappell Roan. He was working for Sabrina Carpenter. Let's go into it. A viral incident involving a young fan and a security guard, as it just decided not to do what I wanted it to, at a luxury hotel in Brazil has taken a new turn. What was initially believed to be linked to Chappell Roan's team is now being reassessed following fresh claims about who the guard was actually working for. The situation sparked controversy online after reports allege that the interaction left a child visibly upset. Now, new details suggest the situation may have been a misunderstanding from the start. The security guard involved in the Chappell Roan controversy was looking after Sabrina Carpenter, not Chappell Roan. According to recent reports, the security guard at the center of the controversy was not assigned to Chappell Roan. Instead, he was alleged working for Sabrina Carpenter at the time of the incident. Per the Daily Mail, the claim comes after days of online speculation that incorrectly tied the guard directly to Roan's team. The situation unfolded at a hotel in Sao Paulo where both singers were staying ahead of their appearances at Lollapalooza. The incident reportedly involved Jude Law's daughter, which we already talked about, who recognized Roan during breakfast and smiled as she walked by. What followed, according to the claims made by the child's family, was unexpectedly intense response from the security guard, who was not working for Chappell Roan. You don't think I'm just going to pound this to death. The guard, later identified as Pasquale Duvier, allegedly, I hope I got that name right, allegedly confronted the child and her mother in what they described as an aggressive manner. Okay, what did he say? The encounter left the young girl upset with her family, later sharing their version of events online. At the time, they believed the guard was part of Roan's team. No, he was not. Vivier has since addressed the situation, stating that he was not part of the personal security team of Chappell Roan and that his actions were not carried out on behalf of her. He added that he was at the hotel on behalf of another individual, which reports now claim was Sabrina Carpenter. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? In his statement, Duvier said that he takes full responsibility for their interaction. At the same time, he suggests that his response was influenced by heightened security concerns at the location. He also maintained that his approach was calm and with good intentions. Nonetheless, he acknowledged the outcome was regrettable. Okay, now that we have pulled all this together, peeled the onion, took all this apart, let's put it all back together. I'm going to close this out and I'm going to talk to you on the other side of this. So yeah, this is crazy. This is like, I've never seen misinformation happen in real time like this has happened to Chappell Roan. A bodyguard who wasn't even her bodyguard approached a woman and her child, and they, for some reason, because the girl walked by Chappell Roan, thought it was part of Chappell Roan's security team, but it wasn't. It was part of Sabrina Carpenter's security team, and he was more concerned because the hotel didn't have very good security for his preferences, his tastes, and he was concerned for his client, which was not Chappell Roan. And yet Chappell Roan is the one who got blamed for it. Let me tell you what I think really happened. What I think really happened is they made the mistake of thinking that this was because the girl went by Chappell Roan's table and saw it was her. I think they believed that was part of her security team. Now that's an honest mistake. I will give them that. That's an honest mistake. But I think what happened after that was the real tragedy, because, and again, in our day of social media, it's so easy for us to go online and complain and just basically knock someone down, bash somebody without having any information. Because he came by after the girl went by Chappell Roan's table. And then everybody piled on top of Chappell Roan, who didn't even know what happened. She didn't even know, and she even said, this guy is not a part of my security team. Didn't matter. The cast was already set. Here we go. We're going to run with it. And the reason is because Chappell has been very vocal about fan interaction. She's been very vocal about, like I said, we did a podcast on her about a year or so ago, maybe a little more longer than that, where she was getting creeped out by people just running up to her on the street, kind of demanding a selfie with her, demanding an autograph. Oh, we love your music. And she was like, whoa, back off. We always talk about, how we need to set boundaries. And yet here Chappell Roan does, she sets boundaries with her fans, and it's like, hey, I thank you very much for liking me. I like, just don't be creepy about this. And I think that's what kind of got people, was that she called her fans creepy, because let's be honest, some fans are creepy. But then she's also, called out, paparazzi and photographers and people who she has felt that has been disrespectful to her. She'll call them out. She has no problem doing that. She has no problem doing it in front of other cameras, which, takes a lot of guts. Because let's be honest, paparazzi can sometimes either make or break a celebrity. But, Chappell, her music stands up on itself. She's got a lot of fans. She's in Lollapalooza with, Sabrina Carpenter and other artists. So her music stands up on its own. But here's what really gets me, all right? In the day and age of social media, where it's really easy for celebrities to be stalked. And let's think about this for a minute. I think Chappell Roan deserves to have certain boundaries because there are there are people, I'm sure there are people right now who are stalking her. And maybe she knows it, maybe she doesn't know it. But I think we all need to kind of like, let's just take a step back for a minute and realize, that, I mean, let's think about other celebrities for a minute, like Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, all of whom have had crazy stalkers. All of whom have stalkers that believed they were in love with them, that they were married to them, that they were having a relationship with them. I was reminded of one stalker of Justin Bieber just the other day. Justin Bieber, the guy who was a stalker, was in prison and wanted his friends on the outside to kidnap Justin Bieber so they can be together, and then they were going to murder Justin Bieber. These are real incidences, all right? These are the reasons they have a security team, because they want to make sure that something doesn't go haywire, go crazy, come out of left field. They want to make sure that the people you love and you want to hear their music from are going to be alive tomorrow. I mean, I'm sure Sabrina Carpenter has stalkers. Like Chappell Roan probably has stalkers. They've got people who are just, they're so fan involved. I'm your number one fan. Don't you know how much I love you? Now, granted, this is not the incident that happened. There was a young girl who walked by the table to see if it was her. And I'm sure if the girl stopped and talked to Chappell, they would have had a great interaction. It's like what Lionel Richie did say. One of the things he did say was that, when fans recognize him, he makes it pleasant. He makes it to where, hi, how you doing? It's great to see you. Oh, I'm so, people come up to us. When people see us from Travel by Nature, they come up to us. Oh my gosh, you're from those videos. Yes, we love your videos. Thank you very much. And again, I understand that. People are very hesitant to come up. We're internet famous. We're not famous. We're internet famous. And we're local internet famous. So we're not even like famous in like the internet famous term of the United States and the world. We're pretty local. We're local internet famous. That's pretty much it. So yes, we're kind of surprised. It is kind of weird, but we love it. We love interacting with people who have seen our videos and want to be a part of it. Here's the thing, though, is that there are scary people out there. And I think that's one thing, and I'm going to keep harping on Brett for this, because I think this is one thing Brett doesn't understand. Brett doesn't understand that there are crazy people out there who are willing to become famous by killing a celebrity, whether intentional or not. And it's scary. And sometimes, yes, these bodyguards tend, and again, we don't know what was actually said. All we know was they had an interaction. The security guard had an interaction with the mother and the daughter, and it upset them. And the security guard said, "Hey, it was professional. It was calm. We're only getting what, it's like, It's like there's three sides to a story here. There's his side, there's her side, and then there's the story. So I'm kind of, you're probably wondering why am I upset about this? Why do I think, why am I taking a stand on Chappell Roan wanting some boundaries set from her fans and being blamed for something, being blamed by bots of all things, by bots, not even real people, by bots. And I'm going to keep hammering that. That is just the most ridiculous thing ever. Here's the thing, because I'm one of these guys. First of all, again, when I saw the headline, I had a hard time believing it. And when I dug into it further, I realized, oh my gosh, this is one of the biggest pieces of misinformation out there right now. And I hate misinformation. I'm not a big fan of it. If you're going to get the story right, get it right. And the funny thing is, I don't think Lionel Richie, and I don't think Joel Madden, and I don't think Brett Cooper are going to issue apologies. I don't think Brett Cooper is going to do another video where she sits down and she says, I was wrong. I didn't realize this was what really happened. I should have looked into it further. I should not have jumped the gun. A lot of people, they see something, they see a headline, they see a story, and they jump into it without getting any of the information right. And by God, let's get the information right. I'm also the kind of guy that I don't want to see our celebrities murdered by stalkers. I really don't. I would love to see Chappell Roan continue with her career 10 more years down the road. I would like for her to do 3 or 4 more albums and she ends up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's what I would like to see. I don't want her to be a part of a YouTube video of celebrities who were stalked and killed by their stalkers. I don't. I think she deserves to have certain boundaries, and I think the security guards should be able to do their jobs in a way that doesn't upset fans. And I think fans need to be kind of compassionate enough to know, hey, yeah, they're there. Oh my gosh, I've met celebrities. It's great. You run home. You never guess who I saw. I mean, and here's the crazy. I mean, and I'll be honest. The craziest fan interaction I ever had was with Frankie Muniz of Malcolm in the Middle, and he was working. He was starring in a movie that I was working in. And at one point, I was tasked to make sure he didn't fall off the roof. That was my job. That if he slipped, I was to catch him. Now, I'm a big guy, and he's not so big. So I was like, yeah, I'll catch Frankie. No big deal. But here's the thing. When we went for the red carpet premiere of the film, my son who loves Malcolm in the Middle, and he was there, and they took pictures. And Frankie he was polite, and he was nice, and he was like, "Thank you." And this was a situation where that's proper. But there are times where fans are just out of their mind, and I think that stars, movies, television, music need and deserve to have certain boundaries set and met so that they can continue to live their lives. I have gone on too long for this. I went on way too long because this is one of the things that I'm a little passionate about this. I know I'm sure you can tell. Because in my lifetime, I've seen too many of our stars be killed by crazy fans. And I don't want to see that anymore. I really don't. Speaking from the heart here. Anyway, that is it for me today. I know, like I said, I went a little longer than I wanted, than I should have, but this was important to me. If you haven't already, go down and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications so you always know when new podcasts are on YouTube. Give me a big like. Share this out to your friends, family, and neighbors, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this topic. Let me know if you think, in fact, let me leave this comment. Let me know if you think Chappell Roan is going to get an apology from anybody. Because I don't think anybody's going to be ballsy enough to say, yes, I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Let me know. I'd love to hear it. But thank you for watching the show. I am Goose. This is On With The Show. I will see you tomorrow on the other side.